Aspen University, CJ110, Introduction to Criminal Justice. This is Module 6, Discussion Question Number 2. And I am Andre Rosedale, the instructor for this course. Question number 2 reads, explain why you believe there should or should not be mandatory minimum sentences for serious crimes, such as murder, rape, robbery, or arson. As a 20-year and counting police veteran, I've been exposed to a large amount of crime, serious and minor. I've seen individuals walk on technicalities, such as a question on where a copy of a report was photocopied, to inept prosecutions. As an individual, I try to connect with victims on a personal level in cases where there is personal harm or loss. This may not be the best approach to being a police professional, but it is who I am and was prior to being a policeman. I tell you this to tell you why I oppose minimum mandatory sentencing. I was a 3-year police veteran working the evening shift of a police department of a small bedroom community in Hartford County, Connecticut. I was dispatched to a resident where a father informed me his 14-year-old son was planning on leaving to go to New York City, New York, with an 18-year-old friend who was visiting from Massachusetts. This 14-year-old and his friend were at the child's mother's house, which was across town. This was a divorced family. I responded to the mother's house and located the child and his friend. I interviewed the friend, who gave me his name and a date of birth. This combination resulted in nothing found in Connecticut or Massachusetts in the driver's license databases. The 18-year-old allowed me to look through his backpack, and at the very bottom of the backpack, I found a hidden pocket with a Massachusetts driver's license, properly identifying the 18-year-old as the name he had given me, but with a date of birth that made him 21 years of age. The 21-year-old was taken into custody, read his Miranda warning rights, and placed into the rear of my police cruiser. The detectives were called in to continue this investigation. I transported the 21-year-old suspect into headquarters, formally read him his Miranda warning rights to him again, had him sign the form that we have here in Connecticut, that is part of the Miranda warning rights, and then spent the next several hours having a very disturbing conversation with him. The 21-year-old came from an affluent family in Massachusetts, had dropped out of college, and was spending his free time connecting with juveniles over the internet and meeting them throughout the New England states. The 21-year-old was a serial pedophile that we had luckily stopped on a routine police investigation. The FBI and state police agencies from affected state and local police departments were brought into the investigation. As a young police officer, I followed these investigations and stayed current on what laws applied to the crimes occurring in my jurisdiction, and prepared myself for what was expected to be a very stressful trial, especially this was a big case and I had never testified anywhere but in traffic court. For the crimes the pedophile was found to have committed in the state of Connecticut, each offense carries a mandatory minimum 10-month sentence. I felt pretty good that the pedophile was going to have the book thrown at him. The accused was looking at a minimum of 8 years and 4 months in the state of Connecticut corrections facilities. Because of the minimum mandatory sentences on these crimes, the state prosecutors elected to allow the pedophile to plea out to just 2 counts on what he was accused of and serve the 20 months of minimum mandatory sentencing. I was told the rationale behind this plea deal was the minimum mandatory sentencing for the number of charges the accused was facing would have caused a long and drawn-out trial, and the victim in this incident would have had to take the stand. The prosecution elected to deal and allowed the other states and federal government to pick up sentencing and punishment in their respective jurisdictions. I was, and I pretty much still am, outraged. The victim wanted to proceed with the trial. The parents, who in their own rights are victims too, wanted to proceed with the trial. The prosecution was afraid of a long, drawn-out trial because of the minimum mandatory sentencing requirements and decided to take the easy way out and accept the plea deal. I don't believe justice was served in this matter. Let me know what you think about minimum mandatory sentencing.